Hey everybody, it's me again. I'm doing a short video this time. I watched the last video that I did, or the last couple videos I did when I started the channel yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and noticed a lot of glaring inconsistencies. You know, even though I was talking about safety and all that, I wasn't wearing a dust mask and all that. Well, you know, I think the average woodworker or the guy at home that's working on his own projects probably does a lot of the same stuff. Doesn't make it right, but you know, that's probably a reality. And this channel is going to, I mean, it's not designed specifically for the homeowner because I am a building professional, and I've taken up woodworking over the years. Over the last 30 years, I've done a lot of woodworking, a lot of cabinet building, but it's kind of an evolution. Still, you know, there's things that I learn every day. I think if you go through a day without learning something, you're doing something wrong. You don't have your ears open, for one thing. Maybe too much sawdust. Bad woodworking joke. Anyway, let's cover a few things quickly before I get onto the cabinet building, which I'm going to start posting videos on shortly. I noticed, I watched the videos over and over. I was kind of laughing at myself because I was talking about not having a dust mask on for my own stupidity because it wasn't available. The reality is, this woodworking shop is actually, to give you a point of view, a perspective, is actually the downstairs of my house right now, which has been gutted so that I could supposedly put it back together, make it living space. But for the past few years, it's been gutted, and it kind of turned into a convenient woodworking place. Now, I don't think most wives or boyfriends would put up with that kind of stuff, but I live alone right now, sadly, or not. I enjoy my life, actually. It has enabled me to use the space temporarily as a woodworking shop, and it's not like the old woodworking shop, easy for him to say, that I had years ago. I had 1,600 square feet of open space, concrete floors, which were the greatest to work on, but still I had all the machinery set up. Now I'm forced into a situation where I have to improvise, like most people do, you know. So everything becomes temporary, portable, and kind of like at a moment's notice. I'm probably not putting the right words together, but kind of like the way everybody lives their life. You know, you have to, you kind of improvise, you make jigs, you do whatever you have to do to make the space work, to make the project go together the right way. Sometimes it's not the most efficient way to do things, but in the end, you get the job done, and if you're meticulous about it, you're going to get a beautiful result, and the key is to be meticulous. I mentioned that. I'm kind of obsessive. It's an important thing if you're going to be doing woodworking, to watch your gaps, to try to keep everything nice and in the same plane. Don't accept deficiencies, especially early on in the project, because they kind of translate later on. They magnify into bigger problems down the road. Okay, well, I'm getting off the subject here, but here I was laughing about the dust mask thing, right? Right behind me, I noticed in the video, behind my bag of rags, there's a couple of dust masks hanging there. Oh, by the way, I do rags. I have my sister and other people recycle material. No sense buying rags. You know, I mean, you can get them anywhere. If you just tell people, like, hey, anything left over you don't want to wear anymore that's suitable for, you know, cotton, probably the best for absorption, for painting and staining and that kind of stuff. Save them, tear them up however you need them. Be frugal, you know. But anyway, the dust masks are hanging here the whole time. I didn't even know. My other dust mask, which I usually use, which has, these are the kind to get. Don't get the cheap little paper ones unless you're going to do something very short term, because around the edges of the mask, all the dust is going to get by. It's going to be in your lungs. I mean, maybe 40% of it. Some of it's going to get caught by the mask, but a lot of it gets around those edges. Those things shift while you're working. They're not very good. These seal, because it's got a rubber face part, seals around your face if you have the straps adjusted properly. And I'm not going to put it on right now. I actually hate wearing this thing, but over the years I've worn it a lot. It's the reason I don't have lung problems nowadays, because honestly, when you're doing work in this trade, you're exposed to a lot of dust, and it's easy to get complacent and say, oh, put it on later and forget about it. It's tough to wear these things. I mean, you try to breathe through them, it's hard to breathe because you're sucking your air in through filters of different kinds that are restricting the air movement. And you start to sweat behind this stuff. Well, those are all excuses, but I understand that's a reality. So if you can do anything that's going to raise a lot of dust, get ready to suffer. Put one of these on, and just do what you have to do. There are other systems which I'd love to have, but maybe someday soon I'm going to buy one. They were in their infancy a few years back, but they're like hoods with air filter devices that go the battery run. They go on your belt, and it allows you free air. It's kind of like a face mask, so you can see what you're doing. And it's giving you clean, fresh air from the outside, so you're not building up all kinds of sweat behind it, supposedly, and you don't have this thing sealed up against your face. Jury's still out on that. I wish I could go somewhere and actually use one to see if they work the way I want, because they're a good investment. I mean, probably $400, 2 to 400. There's different ones being made now. Anyway, quickly, because I'm going to run out of video. I should put a clock here somewhere where I can keep an eye on the time. I only have 10 minutes, I think, for YouTube. Anyway, this table that you see before you, a woodworking table should be clean, as clean as it usually gets, and it should be flat if you're going to do cabinet work. That's the big thing, because when you're putting the pieces together, if it's not flat, you try to line up the joints in the different pieces to secure them to each other, and you get one that's an 1/8 inch off or what, and it does translate down the road. So a good compromise, here's what I did. This woodworking table is nothing but a piece of particle board, or OSB, on top of an old, I bought a bunch of these over the years. I bought, well, actually 3 of them. It's an igloo picnic table kind of thing, very sturdy, fold up, legs, portable. I've taken it to a lot of picnics over the years. I used to be the guy that brings the tables and the chairs. I made the mistake of buying a ton of these plastic chairs. I bring those to the parties all the time. Anyway, this on top of that, it gives you half a chance to have a pretty stable, sturdy work surface. Well, I had a couple of clamps I was using yesterday to hold the cedar corner down while I was working on it, and there were these quick clamps. These are good for that kind of thing, to secure something to a table or to hold it stationary while you're working on it. If you try to use these to glue something together, it's a big mistake. They don't have enough clamping pressure. It's just not enough clamping pressure to get the glue to squeeze out of the joint to the proper degree and get that piece to set up like it should. That glue that I was using, the Type-On, any woodworking glue, you need real pressure on those joints when they're curing for the glue to take effect. Excuse me. This is the kind of clamp you should be looking for, or something similar. It's got an adjustable end, so you can do different widths. I've got different length, just basically galvanized pipe with a thread on one end. And these are sold separately as the clamp. You get it to a point where you have your material in between, and then you can tighten this down. And these exert a ton of pressure on that joint. Now, you don't want to overdo it. You'll learn with experience how to do it, but still, it's 100 times more efficient than a clamp like this. Okay, quickly. I'm probably going to run out of time. I'm paranoid about that. I wrote some things down. Let's see, the way you dress. Now, I wear this vest. I keep the temperature down here on the first floor of the house, about 45, 50 degrees. I don't want to overheat the place. There's no one living down here. So sometimes I'll wear this vest. Whatever you wear when you're doing woodworking, don't wear really loose clothes. Now, I won't wear this when I'm doing work on my table saw. I've got a portable table saw behind me you can't see. I do have some of the big equipment I had in my woodworking shop. 400-pound table saw. I used to have a Unifence table set up, so it was beautiful. But it's not practical in a temporary situation like this. So it's still in my basement in parts. I would love to have it up here, but there's literally no room to do it. But when you're working with portable equipment or heavy equipment, don't wear anything loose that could get caught up in the blade and drag you into it. Very dangerous. Eyeglasses, the same thing. You have those cords. I tried wearing those because these things would slip off my face and get broken and stuff. When you're working and that cord's hanging down, I dread the thought. You don't want to get that caught up in a table saw blade, suck your face into the blade. Sorry, but you know that could be a reality. Let's see, quickly, eyeglasses, I cover that, the mask. Oh, pants. I mean, this may seem silly, but I buy these Dickies for the most part. I want to get more of these. Hey, anybody from Dickies that sees this, I'm doing a shout out to you. Send me a few free pair, huh? I doubt it, but anyway, some of them come with these side pockets. Oh, am I wearing the right ones? No, I'm wearing the wrong ones. Well, I have, no, these are the ones. They have a little side pocket that is great for pencils. As long as the pencils are long. If the pencils get about half this length, which they tend to get once you use them and you're frugal like me, they get stuck in the pocket and you're like this trying to fish them out. But anyway, that's a good part of the design. The Dickies are, if you get the right ones, not the polyester ones, but the cotton ones with the heavy, you know it is triple knit or something, they're great on the job. They show dirt real quick. That's why I sometimes starting to buy the tan ones. Let's see. Yeah, loose clothing, power equipment, set up the table. Gee, did I cover all that quickly? Got to be something else. I think I spoke pretty quickly and I covered most of the things I wanted to talk about. There will be other things that will come up, some incidental things during the course of the projects that I'm showing here that I hope you consider, because after being in the business for 31 years, I've yet to suffer an injury. I still have all my fingers and stuff. I'm sure I've gashed myself, bloodlet a million times on jobs with little slivers and things like that. And I rarely get caught by a piece of power equipment, you know, unaware. Oh, that's one thing. If you get tired, stop what you're doing if you're using power equipment. Distraction from being tired or someone else. Don't be talking to people while you're using a piece of power equipment, and don't have a radio going to pull your mind off, and definitely no cell phone or anything. Oh, why would you talk on a cell phone? But you know what I mean. Don't get distracted while you're doing this kind of work. It can be extremely dangerous. And by that, living by that credo all these years, I've saved my fingers and everything else, you know. Oh, I was watching the video yesterday, and I looked pretty grungy. I always look grungy when I'm around here. I have to admit it. I rarely, if I wake up in the morning, I have no place to go, and I've got woodworking to do, I won't take a shower. Sorry, you know, that's just reality. I wait till I'm done to take the shower, you know, get all the sawdust off of me and all that. So, apologize for looking grungy. And normally, like I said, I won't wear this vest except in the initial setup. It's cool down here right now. It's not bad. But I usually wear a t-shirt with a pocket for a pencil or something. That's also handy. Or your glasses, which will fall out every time you bend over, but that's besides. Okay, I hope some of that's helpful. I'm going to be doing a cabinet setup pretty soon to show you how to get going on that, and I'm probably out of time, so I'm going to switch off. I've got my video camera, by the way, up on top of my ladder now. Real professional setup, and I put a few more lights up, but let's see how it all works. All right.